So one summer, actually 10 years ago this summer, I went to Canada to visit my family, and I was staying with my cousins. They were having a party, and my cousins were, we're all Native. My cousins were Native as well. And then my parents had a lake house about 20 minutes away from where my cousins lived. And so my cousins were having this party, and I was 15 at the time, and at the party I ended up getting roofied and sexually assaulted. And they completely turned on me. They said that it was my fault. They were really aggressive and didn't want to help me. They thought that I had put myself in that position because I was at the party. They didn't believe me when I told them. And so I told my parents as soon as they came and picked me up the next day. And when we went to the local hospital, it was a really small hospital. We went to the hospital to have a rape kit done and to look at my options. And when I got there, they had a patient advocate come and talk to me. And the patient advocate asked me if I was Native, and I said yes. And she said, well, are you from the reservation? And I said no. And what ended up happening was during that conversation, she was trying to get me to go away. She was telling me that, I think what she said was, people like you usually have really violent assaults and yours isn't like that. So, why don't you just go to another hospital? Or, there's really not much we can do for you here. I did want to press charges. They highly encouraged against that and said that most people like me don't do that and that I shouldn't. And it was really that phrase of people like you that really started to set in with me that it was like that's the first time that for me it was really, I didn't feel empowered anymore. I felt like I was singled out, and it was really, I guess for me, the first time that my identity was really shown to me how it can be hard and it can be negative to be Native. It was just kind of like that turn away of, people like you was really hard to deal with. The process of recovery was really long and difficult. So I think what was worse about that was the fact that I decided to press charges. The person who assaulted me, I was 15 at the time. He was about 24. He was a white male. So I had decided to press charges, and it was really difficult going through that process because it was like I was being re-victimized over and over and over in the judicial system in Canada. And basically what happened was I waited that was in 2009, and it took about 3 or 4 years to go through the entire process. I had to go testify, which was hugely traumatizing. I was just asked about my experiences again and again. And that was something, that I thought was really shocking. They brought up in the courtroom was are you from the reservation? What community are you from? And so it was kind of difficult for me to kind of have this identity of being Native and having Native family, but not being from there. It was that didn't count if I wasn't for some reason. But the entire process was really traumatizing, and it really broke me for a long time. And, going through the process, facing my family who was actively working against me in court, saying that I knew him or that I wanted that was really difficult. But honestly, I think the hardest part was knowing that nothing came of it. They ended up, they dropped the case because the Crown prosecutor who was prosecuting my case said that he seemed really sorry about what he did. And so they dropped the case. But I think that the thing that kept me going was knowing that that's the great thing about being Native, is you have a huge community around you. And for me, that's what got me through it, was my family and my older sister, and a lot of people in the family that really came to my aid when some of my other family didn't.